Hello, guys! Welcome back to Freelance and Friends. Hello, Maria.
Hello, Anna.
It's really,
Yeah.
really rainy in Bergen. It's crazy rainy. And yesterday it hailed.
Oh,
So it's like a trick. Like, oh, it's spring, but it's really not.
yeah,
So
yeah. But at least it's just rain. I guess it can make
true.
the spring even greener.
True, true,
Yeah.
true.
Yesterday, I went on a walk in the mountains or the hills close to where I live, and there was like a lot of like these blåveis. I don't know what it is in English. These blue
Yeah.
flowers that come in spring, and it was so beautiful.
Oh, did you film it?
Yeah, and it's like I sat down like in the middle of that like flower field.
Yeah.
I started crying
Oh,
because I was just like, oh, I was so happy that it was
yeah.
spring, and I was just like overwhelmed with all these emotions with these flowers. They were just like so nice.
Yeah. Oh, but I get that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's nice.
It's really nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. I stop like every meter when I hike with Boomy and I just like look at the branches of trees because they're really starting to like get the leaves out and it's
Oh,
so beautiful. And I felt like I was so attuned with nature on my hike like the day before yesterday because we were
hmm.
walking like on this like wild trail up in the mountains and suddenly I just stopped and I just looked to my side and then I just looked at like there was this old stub on a tree, like
Hmm.
old like branch that had been broken off, and then it was covered with moss. And then I just looked at it, and I was just like, oh, because there was one tiny, tiny, tiny spore that was just
Yeah.
like so tiny, and I could see it, and I was just like, there you are, like one like mushroom spore. And I just
That's so
stood there
nice.
looking at it like, how did I know that you were there? It was just like a magical thing, and I just stood there looking at this
Wow.
tiny little mushroom spore.
Yeah.
I have to send you the clip of it because it's so tiny, so
Yeah, do
tiny.
that.
Yeah,
It's almost like you heard it like shouting to you or something
yeah,
like
just
that.
like, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so cute.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
So we're actually here with another tip
themed episode.
themed video. Yeah. So today we're gonna
Yeah.
give you some Instagram tips, and Anna is gonna give you those tips because it's not my my expertise at all. But as I said to Anna yesterday, I'm actually kind of excited because I would actually like to learn more. Uh, I wish I could do Instagram a little bit better, and yeah, it's actually going to be really nice to see what you answer to these questions.
Yeah. I'm kind of
So
nervous just because I don't feel like I've completely understood like Instagram. I haven't hacked Instagram yet.
no, has anyone
Mm.
ever?
I
I
don't think
guess
so. Yeah.
no. It's like that. The algorithms change also all the time, so it's
All the
difficult.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start with asking you because we have talked a bit about Instagram throughout this podcast, and it has
Mm.
had like a big kind of role, I feel like, in your life because it's
Yeah.
been very important. Then it's been something that you kind of avoided for a while
Yeah.
because of you felt it was too stressful in a way.
Yeah.
And then now you've gotten back to it last year. And I was just wondering, where are you at with Instagram these days? How's your relationship these days?
It's so fascinating when you talk about it like that because it sounds like it's almost like a relationship like an actual person.
Yes,
So I
yes,
feel
yes,
like
yes.
Instagram has had like a character development in my life because it started out like I was so in love. I had a big crush on Instagram. It was so much fun. Like every day I would just like think, "Ooh, what can I post on Instagram?" It was so much fun in the beginning. And then suddenly it turned sour. Um
Mm.
and now it feels like we're in a emotionally mature relationship where I know my boundaries and I've set my boundaries and it's like it's good now. Well, of course, we have bad days.
Yeah.
So like yesterday when we decided that this episode was going to be about Instagram,
Hmm.
I spent 2 hours just scrolling Instagram. And in my head, I was like saying, okay, it's for research. I'm going to do some
Hmm.
research so that I know what I'm talking about a little bit, and doing research for myself as well so that I know that what I can make reels with in the future. But I felt so bad after 2 hours of just like,
Yeah.
so
So I guess this is kind of a question that is not on my list, but do you do that a lot? Like scroll
no.
to research what type of reels you can make?
Well, I do that, but I try to do it um, in like short intervals because I
Yeah.
know it's so easy to get hooked and stop doing the research and just like
Mm.
get the content instead. So I do it like in 10 minutes intervals.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, because I also have wondered about that because I feel like it's hard to find ideas for reels without
doing the
ending up
research.
scrolling for hours.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
hard to
thing.
not
You
to
have
get
to
out of it.
train. You have to train your algorithm.
Yeah.
That's a new thing that I've learned. You have to train your algorithm for what you get fed in your reels, in your feed.
Yeah, and they have to be things that you could post.
Yes. They have to
Yeah.
be useful. It can't be
Yeah.
just for pleasure. It has to be useful. So,
Mm.
like, that's something I'm being mindful of. And that's why yesterday, after 2 hours of scrolling, I felt bad, not only because it's mentally bad for me to scroll for that
Mm.
long, but it's ruining my algorithm that I've been racing to give me good ideas and good sounds.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
soiling my like it's ruining the dirt that I'm trying to grow flowers in.
yeah.
So
But
yeah.
what type of videos do you want to get, and how do you train the algorithm to give you those videos?
So I can begin with one of my biggest tips, like my
Okay.
biggest like pros when it comes to this is specifically reels when you make Instagram reels.
Mm.
Um so my biggest tip is that you should find audios that have below 10,000 views. So it has to be, if you find like a sound that has 1,000
Mm.
and you know that it's kind of like a catchy thing, you can hear it, that is kind of catchy. Like now when it's springtime, if it has something to do with spring and it's like below 10,000 uses, perfect. And that's when I just flag it immediately and I add it to my saves. So most of my recommended reels are with audios that are below 10,000 users.
Mm.
So
Nice.
that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you want inspiration from other people that work with similar things as you? Do you like train the algorithm to give you like artists on Instagram type of content?
I try to make it give me an array of different kinds because if I just get artists, then it's so hard to do something original. It's so hard to find something new because it's harder to, like, if you see
Yeah.
something cool that an artist is doing, it's just like, oh, I can do the same, but then it feels like
Mm.
copying. So if
Yeah.
I find like a fashion like reel maker or like a baker or interior designer, I can sort of like twist it into be about art instead of the medium
Hmm.
that they use.
That's also a really good tip, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe not to focus too much on your own niche, but try to find other things that are like related in a way, and then try
Mm.
to like twist it in a way.
Recently, there was this guy that popped up on my actually yesterday. Yeah, he popped up with a reel on my feed, and he was just like saying like quick things like, "Oh, you want to do a pull up, but you can't." And then it was just like a word like do a bouldering, and then I could do that like, oh, you want to express yourself but you don't know how, make art.
And this is why you do well on Instagram, I feel like. I would have never thought about that at all. That's really nice. You have had your Instagram and been building that since you started your shop with the other girls?
Yeah, I think I actually started it a little bit before because I think I
Oh,
started it when I started art school. And that
Oh
was
yeah.
about a year before I started the shop.
Yeah, okay. So it's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yes, it's been a very long time.
Is that like 7 years now?
It's been this October, it's been 8 years since
Yeah,
the
wow.
shop. So I've probably
Mm.
had my Instagram for 9 years.
Wow.
Ugh,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Considering that, I probably should have more followers, but
No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. But it's interesting. I guess also it takes a bit longer if you're trying to take care of your mental health on the way.
yeah,
So
yeah. The pandemic, I didn't post anything during the pandemic, so
no.
those 2 years I just like deleted from history.
But have you done mistakes, made mistakes, and learned from them? And do you see other people making these mistakes now as well?
Yeah, well,
What
it's
are
kind of
like your
hard.
biggest mistakes on Instagram? You feel like?
My biggest mistakes. It's so weird because it depends on the timeline. Because
Yeah,
everything changes over the years. So I remember, like, in the beginning, posting pictures was like the thing. You were just supposed to post pictures, and that was it. And you got a lot of traction just posting pictures, and you didn't really have to think a lot about it because people would come and see the pictures because there were so few artists on Instagram as well. So there was fewer people to find, and less competition in a way. I don't like to call other artists on online competition, but you know what I mean. There's less space.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not so
Um,
saturated. Yeah.
yeah, and I remember, like, in the first 3 years of Instagram, like, giveaways was a big thing. So every artist used to do giveaways. Um, and it would be like, "Ooh, follow me and like this post, and then I will pick a winner, and then you get like a print or something like that." And that was very normal. Everyone did it back then. But doing it now, I would not recommend doing it now,
Mm,
just because
yeah.
it's it everything is changing, and the algorithm doesn't seem like it likes that. And also, I think there's been like a little bit of a wave where taking yourself seriously, it keeps the integrity by not giving away things for free, or
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah. So it's a new way of looking at it now than
yeah,
before.
it's different
Mm,
now.
mm,
I don't
I
know
see.
why. And the same with, like, I remember the beginning, it was very much like follow for follow, you know, just
Yeah,
like
I
asking
remember
people, like,
that.
if you follow me, I'll follow you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's not a thing anymore either, right? So we take it a little bit more seriously now. And in the beginning, we were sort of like loosey goosey about it. Like, everything, it was just for fun. But now,
Yeah,
since you can actually make a living on Instagram, it's become more like a workplace.
yeah. It's a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So things just change.
definitely.
It's not like necessarily mistakes, because if you want to do a giveaway now, you can, but
Mm,
then that's like more of a conscious choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So do you see people doing mistakes when it comes to reels and stuff, since that's more like the thing people are doing these days?
Yes. But that's like nitpicky things. So, like,
Okay, yeah. Give it
it's
to
just
me.
like, so it's like, okay, so with reels, right? When you do like a what's it called? Lip sync, you're supposed to
Yeah.
lip sync to the audio. A lot of people seem like they try it on the first try, and then it's good, and then they post it. But it's not synced at
Yeah.
all. It's not
Yeah.
matching at all. Maybe
It's
they're not
annoying.
even. Yeah, but it's just like, I feel like a lot of people don't work on it as long as they probably should. And a lot of people is just like, just getting it out instead of actually making it a good reel.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like I have three different degrees with Instagram. So story, that's like my toss away. Stories are just like, pew, that's fine. It doesn't have to be serious because it's a story. So that
Yeah.
can be a little bit sloppy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then there's a post. For me, I feel like a post is like the medium. It is like, it's okay. It can be like a little bit goofy, but mostly it's just like simple. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it's a very simple setup with a post.
Yeah.
And then it's a reel that I've started to spend a lot more time and energy on because it's like it for me that needs to look good
Mm.
because it annoys me when it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I feel like a post, at least on your Instagram, could be, for example, a picture of one of your paintings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a bit more informative in a way, or a bit more like showcasing your art, more
Yeah.
like, this is what I do, here's my art. While I feel like your reels, they are more entertainment.
Yes. Yeah.
Because your posts aren't really entertainment, they're
No.
more of a gallery wall in a way.
Information or just like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
portfolio in a
Yeah, yeah,
way.
portfolio in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, while the reels are entertaining.
Yes.
So they have different audiences as well, I would
Mm.
think, actually.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I end up having so many questions that I didn't write down. But when you find an audio for reels, do
Mm.
you practice the lip syncing then? Since you say that,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I look
Now,
crazy walking around in the shop, just like just
yeah,
trying to match it up. Sometimes I even write the words down so that I can
yeah,
look at them and make sure that I'm pronouncing it right. Because
mm,
it is like it takes work. Like people that do lip syncing, just lip syncing, super impressive
yeah,
because they
yeah,
make
yeah.
it look real.
It's true.
Yeah.
So you practice that, and then you film, and then you try
Yes.
it a couple of times
Yes.
if it doesn't like add up. Interesting.
Sometimes I have to do it 10, 15 times.
Yeah. It's like with my voiceover, I guess. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's just the way it is.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, because I haven't dared to do that yet, to like, yeah.
It is tricky. When you try it for the first time, you get surprised by how difficult it actually is.
We have been like touching on it, but Instagram has changed a lot over the
Yes.
years. So if in like 9 years, it's obviously changed a lot. But I would say this is maybe not, maybe some other people is gonna disagree with me, but I think Instagram changed much more. The algorithm and everything on Instagram changed much more than, for example, YouTube
Yeah.
changed during the same time period.
Yes.
And what are the changes you have seen recently?
So going from just pictures to then adding the stories, I remember that happened. A lot of people were annoyed because then it was sort of like Snapchat. So people were comparing
Yeah.
it like, oh, Instagram became like it's like Snapchat now. And the
Mm-hmm.
same when the reels came, I was one of the people that said, "Oh, it's like TikTok. Why would I want TikTok on my Instagram? This is for photos." And I
Yeah.
was super annoyed for it for a while because I didn't want to make videos. I wanted to post my pictures and I wanted my pictures to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But when stories happened and when reels happened, the visibility of the posts decreased. So you didn't really see posts anymore. So that changed the whole mindset of Instagram a lot, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it
Definitely.
got a lot harder to grow. And I also remember like me and a lot of other artists, like big artists with hundreds of thousands of followers, started talking about the fact that people were just like disappearing. Like our followers would just like drop with thousands and thousands of followers a day. And it became really hard to gain a momentum because I remember in the early days, like they always say that, oh, you should post like 5 times a week or you should post every other day. And for a while I did that and that worked. So I actually got a lot of followers in the beginning and I had a pretty good growth.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly it stopped like overnight and nobody understood why. It was kind of like, what now? Like I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
the same for for 3 years and it worked. But now it's different and I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And like I'm always a big like proponent of not making the numbers count. Like you're not supposed to look at the numbers and get like motivation from that. But it can be discouraging when it suddenly feels like what you thought was working isn't working anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking also that it depends, of course, a little bit on what type of niche you're in.
Yeah.
And I would say that this change was not, you have managed, to roll with it now and start making reels. And, that's really cool. And I love your reels. It's so good. And yeah, you had like, before you started making reels, had you like 15,000 subscribers or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. And now
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
like 32.8. So it's like 32,000.8. Yeah. And so it's been growing a lot this year after you
Yeah.
started making reels. But I was also thinking as you were speaking about this that I guess when you are an artist, it's also very practical with Instagram to post pictures of your art. And it must have been a challenging thing as well for most artists when Instagram changed so much, because
Yeah.
then suddenly you're supposed to make videos. And as we talk about, you can definitely relate that to your art and do it in a very good way, but it's no longer this gallery wall in the same way
Yeah.
that it was. You actually had the portfolio on Instagram, and that's kind of what it was.
Mm.
So I think that the transition is also challenging because of the niche you're in, like the artist
Yeah.
niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really cool with your reels, so I love them.
Thank
So
you. Yeah, that was like a discouraging thing too. Like when the reels, I understood that the reels were the way to go because
mm,
that was a new thing, and it seemed like that is what is needed to do to grow. And like when I made YouTube videos, I loved that. I thought it was so much fun. But suddenly
mm,
it became too much work and it took too long to actually get it out. And also, when I was filming myself painting, there's something about doing a creative thing with someone watching. So for
yeah.
me, it felt like just putting up the camera, like I had to have it above the paper. So it was right above the paper. And I usually sit above my paper when I draw. Like I'm close to the paper. I'm like this when I paint sometimes because
Yeah.
I get into the details and I have to like be
Yeah.
so up close. But then my head is covering the paper so you can't see what I'm doing. So it was very hard to paint in a natural way when I was filming it. And suddenly when I had to like sit in a natural position for me to paint, I couldn't get into flow state. So everything sort of became a struggle to create something like painting was so hard when I was trying to
Mm.
film it at the same time. So
Yeah,
when
and
Reels
yeah.
became popular, I was just like, oh no, do I have to go through that struggle again? Like, can't I create in a comfortable way? But
Mm.
now I figured out a way.
Yeah, and your reels, for those that don't follow Anna, you should. It's AKB Illustrations on Instagram. It's a very nice Instagram account. It
Thank
always has
you.
been. So, and your reels are a bit more about like artist life, I would say.
Mm,
So it's also related to your art. It's just a different, like, yes, in a sense, it's a bit more personal as well. You get a bit more of a look behind the scenes and the life of an artist instead of
yeah.
just your art. And I think it's actually really nice with the combination right now,
Oh,
where you post
thank
your art and
you.
then there's also something about your life and your artist life, I would
Yeah.
say. Mm.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Actually, I wanted to ask you the same as you asked me, because you have some reels that have done really, really well. They're like, how far have they gotten now? Like
I think it's
five
500.
500,000
Yeah, I think so.
views? Yeah, which
Yeah,
is wild. That's
that's
so crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's more tricky to find out on Instagram because you don't have this, like, you can't click like popular and find the.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you have to
It's
find
like
the
you have to
one.
look through all the reels and like look at it. So I was struggling a bit yesterday when I was trying to find it.
Yeah, I think I have one that is 500 and my second one is like 300. if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. And then I have a
yeah,
few that are like 200.
yeah. You have many. But what do you think made those reels so popular? Why did they work?
So I've been trying to figure it out. Um,
Yeah.
I think the thing is with reels, the audio plays a very, very big part. It's strange how big a part the audio actually
Hmm.
does.
Interesting.
And I think it's because it comes from TikTok, and TikTok comes from Musically, and that's it's always just like music. It's just sounds. Um, so I think finding an audio that blows up, because if the audio blows up, then your reel will get more visibility, and then honestly, it doesn't really matter what the reel is about, which is sad because it is like kind of
Hmm.
like strike of luck that if you pick the right audio, your reel is can possibly blow up.
Oh, because other people start using the same audio then.
Yes.
Ah, so they get inspired by your reel then, and then they
Yeah,
make their own, and
maybe, or
then
yeah.
okay,
Mm.
cool.
And I also think when I started doing the reels that are more like three things I've learned about
Mm.
being an artist, just going the teaching route, I think helped a lot. Like for a long time, I was like, I can't teach anyone anything because I don't even know what I'm doing. Everything is like chaos at all times. Even though it's not, like I've become pretty comfortable being a artist with an art shop now,
Yeah,
but still there's so many things I don't know. um, but over the last few years I've gotten a lot more confident and just starting to share the knowledge that I have, because I really don't want to gatekeep um, how to be a freelance artist. I want more people to be able to do this. So being able to just share the things that I know, I feel like that's a nice thing both for people that want to become an artist and for me just sharing it. So I think that that also was like a hit in a way, because I think all my most viewed videos are from that series.
yeah, I think so too.
Mm, yeah.
You have a couple of others though that also did quite well, like
Yeah, I
reasons not to go to art school,
yes.
which also did really well on YouTube back in the day, which I think is kind of funny. So like,
I
it's a hot
think
topic, Anna.
the thing is, I knew when I posted that one that that would blow up because I remember that the YouTube video did,
Yeah,
and I knew also that it would blow up because it is controversial.
and people would get angry.
Yeah, it's an unpopular opinion,
Yeah.
and I knew I would get some heat. Um, but that's fine.
Did you?
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
comment section was crazy. I was being called a bad person,
Yeah.
but that's, I mean, when you're online,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I've seen some YouTubers talk about that too, that they actually on purpose like make controversial titles or things that will annoy people because that actually works also for as a strategy to blow up.
yeah,
So I guess if you have
yeah.
a thick skin, you can do that too, you know.
That's the thing. Like, I didn't do it because it was controversial. It is my opinion
No, I
that you
know.
don't
I
have to go to
know.
art school, but
Yeah.
I did have it in mind that okay, I need to prepare myself that this is going to get some people angry, but it's going to get a lot of views. So
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah,
And I think it's good that you're just sharing your opinion anyways. I know you didn't do
yeah,
that to like annoy people.
yeah. A lot of people got like really relieved by me sharing that, just because a lot of people have felt the same way too.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it's true as well. You don't have to go to art
you
school to be
don't
an
have to go
artist.
to art school. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and also you also made like this is just for all the people that don't follow you. Like you made also a reel about why you should go to art school and the good
mm,
things about that, of course. And then there are like different sides here. You can like
yeah.
yeah,
Good and bad things.
yeah. And I think too, I was looking at those reels that did really well. I feel like like you said, that maybe it has something to do with the educational part of them and the
Yeah.
things that you've learned. And also, you write like you've been things I've learned from having being an artist for 7 years or having an art shop
Yes.
for 7 years. And I guess
Yeah.
also the 7 years in there is a good thing because it gives you like this credibility.
A
So
little bit, yeah.
yeah. So I think it's good because it's very short. Of course, reels have to be really short and you have to get the point across. So like you
Mm,
establish credibility immediately.
mm,
You also say what the reel is going to be about immediately in the text, and also then there's like these points that you've learned and the things that people can read and learn from, which I think is
mm.
good.
Thank
So I
you.
think it's something about the educational part of them.
Yeah, I really like it, but I'm on part 9 now and I'm running out of things that I've learned.
Yeah. I guess I guess you have to come up with a new concept now.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think so. I think
Yeah,
so.
it's time. Maybe that's why it's not doing so well because you're
Yeah,
running out of
what I've
things.
been trying to do is that I want to do like conversations that I've had in the shop that are
Hmm.
really weird, like
Yeah.
meeting artist customers, like what
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
say to me. That would be a lot of fun. But yeah.
I would love that. And we didn't write that down, but we actually wanted to have a podcast episode about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But we forgot.
Yeah.
I would love to do
Oh,
that. That would be really
yeah.
cool.
Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But do you have some other like general tips for people that want to do well on Instagram? What are your
Yeah.
top tips?
Well, okay. So it is the audio thing. That is my biggest tip is just to pay attention to the audio. And if there is a trend that you see pop up on Reels and it has like millions of views, it's been used up. So you can't really do it anymore.
Mm,
It won't add if it's already blown up, then it's sort of run
yeah,
dry. So you need to jump on it really early and just like pay attention very early. It takes actually surprisingly a lot of work to just pay attention to the trends and just pay attention to the audios that are being used. And
mm,
also like trying to find a vibe to your videos. I feel like helps a lot to settle into some kind of aesthetic, because I feel like
yeah,
most of the people that have really like well produced and nice profiles with reels, there is like a common thread through their videos. So that is
yeah.
important. I
But
also
how do you do
think
that? How do you
of
do
finding
that?
your vibe.
Yeah, how do you like create an aesthetic that goes through the whole? Is that about the audio or the background or the like? What is your?
I think it's all of it. So for me, like I rarely film at home because I feel like the wooden structures of the shop is like a part of my aesthetic now. So
Mm,
filming my reels here with the same sort of background that is familiar, that helps a lot so that people
yeah.
know like, oh, they see the background, they see the vibe. Oh, it's Anna. They immediately know that okay, this is where I am right now.
Hmm.
And the same with my audio. So I usually go for more like jazzy blues kind of vibe and maybe like a little bit of like folk music because I feel like it fits the vibe. It fits it fits this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the cozy and fairy tale like
Yeah. So I
vibe, I
don't go
guess.
for
Yeah.
like hip hop or like dance music because it would like it wouldn't work. So
It's a
I
struggle
try to
though.
think about, yeah, I know. I try to think a lot about that when I make reels that
Mm.
it's supposed to fit.
Yeah, nice.
And also, I know a lot of people are tempted to make their reels in a different app and then upload it and then post it. But Instagram recommends reels that are made in Instagram and with their fonts.
Ooh,
So you should
okay.
use their fonts actually because
Mm,
it notices. Like Instagram is smart, they have AI everywhere. And the same is that the words that you use in your reel, like you should use words in your reel. That's why they work too,
mm,
because they notice the words and then recommend it to people that have searched for similar words before.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So there is a lot of like technical things behind the reels that you should just pay attention to. And the same with your caption. Don't keep it too short because the words in your caption is also used to like propel your reel towards the people that have those words in their
Yeah.
like interest field.
So you should search optimize your captions and
Yes.
words in your video.
Yes.
Do you think it's? I've noticed that sometimes I click the caption because I'm actually really curious what they write there. Do you
Yeah.
think it's important to like create a caption that kind of captures? I just couldn't find the word. That captures the interest of the viewer, so that they
Well,
also click the caption and like stay on the reel for longer to read.
that's the thing. So that's also a trick. It's a trick to keep people on the reel for longer so then you get more views. Um there's a lot of people that do that kind of thing like, "Ooh, check my caption to get these tips." So I don't do that necessarily. I want to give you the actual point in the reel, and then if you want to read more, you can go to the caption. Because I feel like
Yeah,
it's kind of like
it's annoying. I
it's a little bit
agree.
annoying if you have to click down to the caption to get the
Yeah,
information that you're looking for.
yeah, I like your way of doing it because sometimes when people not they do not serve the whole thing in the video or the
Yeah.
reel, I get so annoyed that I just like, ugh, oh, what's going on?
People are trying to get into the shop.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, sorry, closed. I'm on a meeting. Yeah. So
Hmm.
just using the app as much as you can when you edit your reel as well. I know it can sometimes be really, really annoying because the app can crash. Um, but using it will most likely get your reel shown to more people.
But can you edit the video itself in another app
Yeah,
and then upload it and then use
yeah.
captions and then it will still work?
But what I usually do is that I try to time my clips to the music. And
Yeah,
doing that outside of the app where you don't have the music is really hard.
it's
So
true.
yeah, so I usually try to like time it just because I like the aesthetic of it that like on a beat the clips shift,
Mm,
into a new clip. So, but that's
yeah,
like a preference. If you don't mind that, you can always edit it in a different app.
I think it's very hard to do that. I prefer editing everything in Instagram because it's just so much simpler. But it's
Mm,
very hard because Instagram does not take big files. So
yeah.
if you have a video that is a bit bigger and the quality is a bit higher than the
Mm,
normal like phone thing,
yeah.
Instagram will not help you out. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then you kind of need to edit it in the another app, and then I sometimes like put it into Instagram and then I cut it to the music in Instagram
Yeah.
in a way. So you can still kind of like cater it to the music. You just have to like cut it down to small pieces
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is such a long process and
That's the
just really
thing.
annoying. Really
Things
annoying.
take a lot longer than you think.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so too. But how do you please the algorithm these days? Do you have any other like things except for that?
Except for the audio.
Yeah, about
Well,
posting, for example, is it important to post at specific times or?
so they say, well, it is kind of tricky because I think since I'm in a touristy spot at Bryggen, I have followers that are from around the world. I don't have a majority that is in a specific spot or in a specific time zone. So, like, they recommend posting between 1 and 2 in the afternoon because that's when people are starting to get bored at work and they start to scroll or they're having their lunch and they check their phone. So that's the usual time that you should post if you know where your majority of your followers are. But since I have like people all over the place, I usually just I post when I feel like it. And they
Mm.
say that posting Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays are the best days to post in general. And then reels do really well during the weekend. Not posts though. Posts do really
Okay.
badly during the weekend, reels do really well. But these are like things they say. I don't know if they actually work. It's like
Yeah.
I've tried to do it, but sometimes it hits, sometimes it misses. So it's kind of like if
Hmm.
you find a rhythm that you feel like it's comfortable, then I feel like that's the way to go. And I also recommend just doing the same that you do, like quality over quantity. They say like, oh, you should post 5 times a week, at least
That's
two
a lot.
reels, a bunch of stories every day. They say you have to post stories
Mm,
every day. And I don't feel like that's the truth at all, that you have to do that.
yeah.
When I get back after being away for a week, usually my stories get a lot of views just because I've been away. So it's kind of the same thing as you, like when you post a
Yeah.
video after a while and then it's just like, whoo,
Yeah. Make
yeah.
them go hungry for a little while.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that's the way. And also just working on the product because I mean, if I'm going to post 5 reels a week, it
Yeah,
wouldn't be
that sounds
good.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't end up good at all.
And that's that then it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And you have a full-time job,
Yes,
you
I
know?
do.
So it's
And a
like,
part-time job.
yeah. So I guess it depends also what's your goal with it, because for you, I feel like Instagram is more of a side hustle
Yeah. And it's for
to your shop.
fun.
It's for fun.
Now
Yeah.
it's for fun. I don't make money from Instagram at all.
No.
It's just like a fun thing that I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess if you want to live from Instagram, maybe posting 5 times a week and just putting all your energy into that could be worth it. But sounds just like a very intense mental load to me.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want Instagram to be my main job. I still want to keep it fun.
Do you get offered brand deals and stuff now, though, since you have like 32,000 followers?
We've actually talked about this, and I wish that I did. What I do get is that I get a lot of yoga wear. I get like gothic jewelry.
Me
I
too.
get like baby things. Um,
Yeah.
and none of that applies to my brand or my profile at all. So
Mm,
I don't accept
yeah.
it, of course.
Yeah.
I do want to reach out to some paper brands though, because
Yeah.
I do absolutely have a few favorite paper brands. And if they would like me to be an ambassador or something like that, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Um, but
That
yeah,
would be really cool.
yeah. So I'm planning to maybe reach out, just like see if I can do something with that. Even if it's just like getting free paper, then
Hmm.
that's cool too.
Yeah, because you use
Um,
it anyway, so it's not so hard to make a shout out
yeah,
to them,
and I mean, art
anyways.
supplies
Yeah.
are really expensive.
Yeah.
So
It's
just like
true.
getting a little push with that is a lot. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Sponsorship world is still something that we are not very
unfamiliar.
familiar with. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're
and
struggling
also like
still.
I don't feel like I see a lot of ads with artists. A lot.
I guess I guess maybe artists very often they don't have to do brand deals because they just sell their own art instead.
Yeah, true.
So they have this side thing that is already making them money. That is their art.
Yeah,
So I guess maybe that's why. I would think
yeah, I think so.
they don't need the brand deals to live from it, and then actually the social media account is just like boosting their sales, and their sales is kind of paying for the social media account work in a way.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yes.
It's a bit more. I'm wondering, like, where do you learn about Instagram? Like, what are like the resources you use to learn about what works and what doesn't work? And yeah, do you have anything that you would recommend people like look into?
It's hard to say like a specific source because it
Yeah.
is from Instagram. Like I when I scroll through my reels, and since I've now trained my algorithm to give me the videos that I want to see, I get a lot of like tips and tricks videos as well. Like for new audios that are like going to going to pop up, like it's going to pop off and it's going to like get huge. So I get like those kinds of reels sometimes. I say like, oh, I recommend this audio because it's going to blow up.
Mm.
um and I also get recommended reels that say like, oh, try these 3 things to grow your Instagram
Yeah.
following and stuff like that. I don't
Okay.
always do them, but there is some knowledge in there that I've
So you don't
used.
have so you don't have like a specific creator, for example,
No.
that you kind of trust?
No, I get like up. I just get different people every time. Every time I
Yeah.
scroll through, I just get different people, and
Mm.
sadly, I think that's how Instagram works now. It's not like YouTube
Yeah.
where you subscribe to a person in that way. People use the Instagram feed and reels just to like scroll through, and they see what they catch in a way. It's just like a random pick of reels. But the more I if I like a reel, then I get more from that creator. So I try to make sure that I like only reels that I want to get more of. Like I want to get
Yeah.
more like this. And if
Hmm.
I get a reel that is not within the niche that I'm looking for, I try to like swipe as quickly as I can. Just
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
don't ruin it.
I just imagine this would be a bit hard if you like curious about the reel, like, oh, I kind of want to watch this. No, no, no.
Yeah. It's really hard. You have to have self discipline, which I don't
Yeah,
have. It's really hard sometimes. But one
yeah,
of the things that I've learned from these kinds of reels is that if you use the audio trick, like you find a audio that hasn't really blown up yet, um, when you use it and you post your reel, it doesn't need to go well right away. That's the thing
yeah.
with reels that are very different than YouTube, I feel like. Because on
Mm.
YouTube, it's like it has to, you see how well it's going to go the first 3 days, right?
Yeah. But the videos that have blown up have usually it's been like 10 days and then suddenly.
Yeah. So for
So
me, suddenly a reel from a month ago
yeah.
can just blow up just because the audio suddenly gets like blown up.
Yeah.
And then
Interesting.
it's like, ooh, and I have no idea. Like, I wake up and I haven't posted a reel in a week. And I look at my phone, like, suddenly I have a lot more followers and I have no idea why. And I have to scroll through my reels to find the reel that suddenly has like 30
Yeah.
plays. And it's just like, oh, I thought 30,000 plays. But yeah,
Hmm.
suddenly it's just like, wow.
Interesting.
So yeah, so it can happen anytime. And if you try, like, if you keep using the audios that don't have a lot of plays, that will happen more frequently.
Mm,
So
I see.
yeah,
Do you use the insights on Instagram at all? The analytics?
yeah, I look at them sometimes. Yeah.
Is there anything there you would think that people should pay attention to?
In a way, because some of the popular reels are the really, really, really short ones that have a lot of text that you need to read, and then you get a lot of plays. So it looks
Mm,
like you get a lot of activity. It looks like you are blowing up like crazy. So if you have like just a 5 second reel with a lot of text, it will be replayed so many times. And then going into the
mm.
insights and looking at how many people that actually watched your reel is very different from the actual view
I
count.
see. I see.
Yeah. So you need to be
Yeah.
mindful of that too, that if you want to grow, just getting the views, it doesn't really matter. It's how many accounts you reach.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are the metrics you would say to people that they should look at a bit
Yeah.
more than just the
Yeah.
views, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very important. I think those things are interesting too. Like, what are the metrics you should actually work on?
Yeah, because the view
Yeah.
count, it doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
Like if one of my longest reels, like some of the reels that I do with the three things I've learned, they are a little bit longer and you need to read the text. And the few like the ones that actually got really popular, I try to work in that you can read the text before it switches, because before the one that blew up, I had done it too quickly. That like the video
Mm.
was too short. People had to rewatch it a bunch of times because they couldn't read the text. And I got a few comments that this is too quick. I can't read it. Um, and I thought like, oh, but isn't that a good thing that you can't read it, because then you get more views? But
Yeah.
actually, it reached a lot fewer people, even though it got more views than some of the others. It reached a lot fewer people. So when I started making the reels like consciously that okay, people need to be able to read it, but they also want to be comfortable reading it.
Yeah.
that's when they actually like reach a lot more people because they share it
Ah.
as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because then people like them a bit more, I guess, too.
Yeah.
So you get more likes and you also get more shares, like you say.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good tip. I feel like on YouTube, I feel like it's more like the subscriber count is the thing that doesn't matter that much anymore.
Yeah.
It's more your views matter, but your subscriber count can sometimes be like not very interesting actually to the
Ah.
algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
But to brands, if you're gonna work with brands, your subscriber count matters. So you
Yeah.
still have to like think about it, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the views are the things you should look for, and also the views and how long people watch, and not just if they click the video and they click away immediately. The
Yeah.
view doesn't really help you that much.
I see, yeah.
You want people that actually watched quite a lot of the video. And that's a strange thing too, because it's so different from Instagram as well. Because I feel like on Instagram, it's about like making short things.
Yeah.
I feel like the shorter videos generally do better.
Well, that's also a topic up to debate.
Okay,
Because
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, because that changes all the time. So I know that on TikTok right now, they've started to recommend longer TikToks. So the longer they are, the more they're going to be recommended. And
Hmm.
Instagram is like a TikTok copy now. So I think maybe they will start to do more like TikTok in the future. They take
Yeah.
inspiration from TikTok, so I think it's going to change.
All right. We just had like a little break. All nice in our shop, so things happen. I don't
I
know.
got so yeah.
Maybe someday we're gonna talk about this, but I don't.
Yes,
We're not
maybe
gonna
in
talk.
that episode that we talked about.
I think this is gonna go into the
Yeah.
episode about really strange things that happen in Anna's shop.
Encounters in the shop.
Yeah, but we're gonna just leave it as like a cliffhanger for now.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
It was really, really odd though. Really, really odd.
Thank you. It's nice
Yeah,
to hear it from you that you heard it, so that it's just not me being crazy.
yeah, yeah. That was like, wow. Okay. Let's just say there's a high demand for your work. The positive side, the positive side of
Oof.
it is that
Oof.
a lot of people want to get into the shop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So people are practically banging down the doors right now. So we need to
Breaking in.
finish. Yeah, people are trying to break in. So let's. They're so excited to buy your art.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh well, oh well.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. I hope it was useful for you that maybe want to do a bit more on Instagram. I personally felt like it was really useful.
Mhm.
There's like a lot of things here that I didn't know about at all. So it was really, really interesting. Have a nice day in the shop.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. I need it. I need it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.